Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Greg Martyr, who's Executive Chairman at Capital Metals. How are you today, Greg?
Excellent. Zach, good to see you again. Been a while.
Well, we're actually face-to-face today, so hopefully there'll be no punch-ups or anything else, but maybe you can tell us about today's news, which seems to be quite a big win for Capital Metals.
Yeah, it's something we've been focused on pretty intensely over the last 4 months, and our focus now is a race to cash flow, and we want to get the project up and running as quickly as we can. We knew that we could do it cheaper than what was in the PEA back in May 2022. So we've, with Stuart Forrester, our new COO, who's ex-Aluka and ex-Comores, so he's been there. We needed somebody operational to come in so that we could get ready to build and then operate the project. So worked very closely with him, with Mineral Technologies, looked at where there was too much fat, where we could cut corners, and we found 3 or 4 key areas. And we now are very focused on just stage 1, getting into HMC production at a 550,000 tonne per annum processing to produce 125,000 tonnes of initially heavy mineral concentrate. And over time, once we become self-funding, we would add further plant. A magnetic separation plant and non-mag plant. So, came out this morning. We've reduced the capex from that stage 1 from 30 million to 20 million, and at current prices, there's a little bit of headwinds in the mineral sands pricing, but current prices, we'll look to have less than a 1 year payback for that initial stage of capex.
Of course, the elephant in the room has not been actually the merit of your project or even the funding, because it's a great project and people would probably throw money at you. I can say that, maybe you can't, but it's actually where you're based. You're based in Sri Lanka, and it's been a slightly rocky ride there.
Yes, yeah, it's been certainly since the company bought the project back in 2016. There has been some black swans, you call them. There's been some interesting things that we've had to deal with, including corruption from the previous minister, which we dealt with quite readily. He ended up being removed from Parliament, which was a great win for us. And then more recently has been the presidential elections in September, and there was a bit of a surprise, and the NPB candidate Anura has come out on top. So he won the presidential election, and then he immediately announced a general election, and that took another 2 months. So we've been in a period where there's been the government's basically been frozen for 3 months, and that was okay because we knew that was happening, and so we just got on with life ourselves, and we focused on that, getting the new capex plant. It's enabled us, a capex number, it's enabled us to spend a lot more time on the community as well. And so we've got 2 new community officers in place, so that we could do, during this period. So, the NPP has come out with what has surprised the country, I think, or certainly surprised a lot of the people that we had spoken to, with a resounding victory. And I think it's a good thing. I think they've built a solid position of power. They came in on the basis of a platform of anti-corruption and anti-government largesse, 2 things that we would naturally support. And we're looking forward to a period of positive progress, a bit more certainty. And, I think they've got rid of a lot of the bad eggs that were in Parliament. So, and not just Parliament, in the bureaucracy. And there's multiple layers in Sri Lanka, to the governor, to the divisional secretary, the district secretary. So there's been a big clean out. So I think, there's still a bit of uncertainty because there's a lot of new names in a lot of these positions that a lot of people don't know. But I think we're in for hopefully at least a honeymoon period over the next 18 to 24 months, and I think they'll be very positively disposed to helping us get the project into production.
So the shares, I think in the recent past they peaked at 5p, 6p, something like that, before the black swans landed, before the political shenanigans happened that you had to suffer. Isn't it the case that if you don't have any of that negativity, Capital Metals maybe can find the right level on the market?
We're certainly hopeful of that, and yeah, we've certainly been in the penalty box, and we've got to get out and just rebuild that confidence. Naturally, we didn't have any influence over the presidential situation, and I think that ticking that box in terms of now having certainty of power and the decision-making process, I think, coupled with the work we've done on getting ourselves into production faster, should give us a platform to certainly get that price up. And the fact that, with this, what we wanted out of this exercise was to demonstrate to our shareholders and to potential shareholders was that this is not a huge funding task. It's $20 million, and that it's eminently financeable through means that will not dilute the share price. That's our intention. Our objective is to come out and say we don't need money from the market, and that's the best thing to create FOMO. And let's see.
And so once we've had a few pictures of you shaking hands with Sri Lankan politicians and maybe giving them a big hug, gives the market that confidence, then people can just look at the project and the merits of the project rather than worrying and looking over their shoulder about what the next potential bump in the road might be.
Look, I think that's right. And I'm heading there after the Mines and Money conference this week, and I'll be there next week to meet some of those new appointees.
And do you think that, are you bumping into people, or do you expect to bump into people who say, well, look, you've got this decent project in Sri Lanka, the market cap is currently depressed because of the political aspects. I think this is an opportunity. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. I think we've actually restarted a process that we were working on a few years ago, and then when we got into those conversations with LB and with Sheffield, we parked those conversations. We were in 3 conversations with potential partners, and we pretty much got approached by those 3 partners, and we weren't out searching for them. So we're looking to give out about 15% of the project. We'll have to pay for it to build that local partnership opportunity. So we've always wanted, I think, and I think in these developing countries you should always look to at least have some local participation. So that is moving ahead quite well, and we're hoping that would form part of that funding package.
And how much, finally the sort of geological question, or maybe it's a business question as well, but how much is Capital Metals leveraged to the prices of the commodities involved, the ilmenite, the gamete, the zircon, rutile? How much is that a factor in where you're going?
Well, we're totally leveraged to them. That's all we're producing. Ilmenite is our biggest source of revenue, and that probably that's come back a bit, but not as much as zircon and rutile. The reality is in quite soft pricing markets, if you can come out with a project, certainly our phase 1 project, with a 1-year payback, that still says you've got pretty healthy margins. Yeah, well,
I suppose I was looking more on the cost of production versus the cost, the market price of the commodity. So if you're a low-cost producer, you don't care so much about the prices of those commodities at any one time.
No, well, we always do, but we've got a very healthy buffer.
Okay, well, we look forward to lots of healthy buffers in the meantime. Greg Martyr, Chairman at Capital Metals, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Zach.